everyone, it's Vlad from Infinity Insight. Today, I'm very excited to introduce you to our latest product, which is Plotly for Qlik. Plotly, for those unfamiliar, is an amazing open source visualization library. And what we've done is combine the power of those visualizations with the processing power of Qlik. So we're going to kick things off with the first product within that suite, which is the parallel coordinates chart. So, for those unfamiliar with parallel coordinates, let me give you a very quick crash course. Parallel coordinates is a visualization technique for highly dimensional data. So what that means is basically data that has a lot of measures, a lot of variables, a lot of features. These are kind of all synonyms for the same thing. So here we have a data set of credit card transactions. This is a very commonly available data set. This is something that's used in many machine learning and data science algorithms, and I'm sure many of you have seen this before. And the way this data is structured is each row represents one credit card transaction, and each row is either fraudulent or it is not. So this is historic data. So the bank already knows if this was fraud or if it was not. Now, also on each row, we have 28 features. So 28 measures, basically. And these appear at first glance to just be quite arbitrary, right? Because we don't know what V1 means. Whoever created this data set presumably does know what it means, but to us, this is basically just an indecipherable wall of text. And really, we would struggle to kind of derive any sort of meaning or value out of this. We could maybe feed this into something like a machine learning algorithm, but really in terms of visualization, we would really struggle. Because if you think about the tools available in the traditional data visualization toolbox, you have your bar charts, your line charts, even your scatter plots really can only visualize two measures. So we don't really have a good way to visualize 28 measures all at the same time. Well, so that's what we're trying to solve with this very first product. So I'm going to switch over to the next sheet where we have our new visualization incorporated. And as you can see now, all of a sudden, this previously indecipherable mess of numbers is starting to tell us a story. Before I get into what that story is, though, I want to quickly explain how this parallel coordinates chart is set up. So we have 28 axes, y-axes, and each one represents one measure. The axes are sorted numerically, so basically the highest values are at the top, lowest are at the bottom, and each line that's drawn through all of these axes represents one line of data. So basically we know that this line, transaction ID 1, would be drawn such that it would intersect the second measure at 1.95. That itself would already be useful, but what really makes this much, much more useful is the fact that we could add color to the picture as well. And you could use color really to represent anything. In our case, color is simply going to be binary because we know a transaction is either fraud or it is not. And so what we've done is we've colored the legitimate transactions this light blue, and then the fraudulent ones are black. And so right away you can see that they're not all the same. There are certain ranges that appear to be corresponding to legitimate ranges. At least that's the theory. So what you can do with this chart is now start to interact with it and start putting together some sort of prediction. At the end, when you're done, you can take that prediction, you could feed it into a machine learning algorithm or into whatever else you like, and then see how does it predict the future, because this is just the past. If you've done a good job in terms of picking what you think are likely ranges, then the idea is that this could then predict credit card fraud in the future. So let's get started. All of this is fully interactive. So let's say I could see that basically nothing below, let's say around -6, appears to be legitimate. I see maybe a couple blue lines here, but for the most part, it's all black. And I can see right now when I am just starting, my fraud rate is pretty high. It's almost a 10. It's not 9.8. So I'm going to go ahead and filter everything, let's say lower than around that, and I'm going to exclude it. So big difference. My fraud rate has gone down to an 8, and the false positive is still quite low because we don't want to exclude too many of those blue lines. Let's see if we can do a little bit better, though. So there's a big cluster here. I'm going to go ahead and exclude that as well. Okay, big difference. Now we're down to a 3.4, and there's this spike here. I'll go ahead and exclude that. Down to 2.87, and maybe let's get rid of that. So now we're down to 2.4. And let's say that's it. Let's say I don't want to accept any false positive rate higher than that. And let's say I'm happy with this. So what I can do now is click on this button here, and that will show me everything that I have selected on each of these measures. I could then copy this, and then I could feed this into some sort of a machine learning algorithm and see how it does in terms of predicting. So that's about it. Anyone who would like to play with this, simply just drop a comment in the comment section below. We'll set you up with an evaluation license. It'll be for a long time. You'll have plenty of time to play with it. We're very excited to hear your feedback, and we're also very, very excited for the upcoming products that will also be added to this family. We're excited to share those all with you. Again, looking forward to your feedback, and thanks for watching.